We'd like to welcome all the students from different colleges of Mumbai and from different colleges of Maharashtra. And we would also like to invite all the special guests and dignitaries present here this evening for our 123rd Prerana Festival. It has been over 10 to 11 years that we have been conducting this festival and this program. And it has been an incredible privilege to be witness to the growing numbers of the students despite the India-Zimbabwe match. They are still here. They are here because India-Zimbabwe match is over. If the match was on, I would be the only one talking about master strokes in life to myself. So indeed, it's very overwhelming to see this wonderful response. My special welcome to some of our very special dignitaries. Today we have with us from the previous Indian cricket team, Shriman Praveen Ambreji present here. And it's quite embarrassing for me to sit here and talk on cricket when he is present. And I don't know much cricket anyways. And I would also like to welcome a special guest here this evening, Mr. Raje Amresh Raoji, who comes from the royal family of Aheri and is currently the Minister of State for Tribal Development in the State Government of Maharashtra. So we would like to welcome him as well this evening for our program. And of course, we would like to welcome all the special guests for the program this evening. Oh God, playing the master strokes in life. India has been doing very well. In 2007, when India lost in the World Cup, there was a joke that was going around. And the joke was that a little girl was in the court because the parents were taking divorce. So the judge asked the girl, whom would you like to stay with? Mother, mummy, or daddy? Girl said, no, none. Said, why? You don't want to stay with mummy? Said, no, why? Mummy beats me. So then stay with daddy. No, daddy beats me. See, then if you don't want to stay with mummy because mummy beats you, don't want to stay with daddy because daddy beats you, then whom do you want to stay with? She said, the Indian cricket team. You know? So the judge asked, why? She said, they don't beat anyone. So when India lost in 2007, this was the joke that was going around, that they don't beat anyone. And this time, and from 2011, God, now she won't even want to stay with. Because they're truly beating a few people. God. And then what to speak of West Indies and South Africa and Ireland and today Zimbabwe and now all the way into the quarterfinals. Are you excited? साधु के सामने आप सब शांत हो गए लगता है excitement they're not even shouting that they're excited about the World Cup. I remember His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was doing a program in the year 1996 in Borivali. And when he was in Borivali, it was the day when there was an Indo-Pak match. And we were expecting about 3,000 to 4,000 guests. We had cooked prasadam for about 4,000 people. 3,500 to 4,000 people. It was an Indo-Pak match. So Maharaj came for the lecture. He sat on the Vyasasana on the stage. And he looked into the audience. There was only ladies. And the only men present were us, brahmacharis, sitting in front of him. We were the few select people who were sitting there. And then Maharaj called one of us and asked, what happened? Where are the men? He said, Maharaj, Indo-Pak match. So then he gave a talk, only ladies were there. Then during the kirtan, he picked the harmonium and closed his eyes and started singing. And suddenly there was fireworks. So he opened his eyes to realize India had won. And suddenly 1,500 men joined. You know. And in our kirtan, we have dancing. So they were celebrating India's victory, not the holy name of Krishna. So I always say, India जीते या हारे, हमारा तो धंधा पूरा चलता है. इंडिया जीतता है तो सेलिब्रेट करने आता है और हारता है तो सांत्वना के लिए आते हैं. पर मुझे कुछ थोड़ा सुनना. So our धंधा पानी goes on well. And I remember in the year 2011 World Cup, I went to receive Radhanath Maharaj at the airport. He had come from Mayapur. And there was only 2 days for the World Cup final, India-Sri Lanka. And Radhanath Maharaj is from America. He was born an American Jew in a Jewish family. His earlier name was Richard Slavin. Now he took sannyas from Prabhupada. And he's His Holiness Radhanath Swami. So there was a television reporter. He was very excited to see an American Swami, an American sannyasi. So he came with his television camera and it was only me and Maharaj walking. So he came and asked me, Swami ji ko bolo ek interview dene cricket ke liye. मैं बोला मेरे भाई स्वामी जी अमेरिका से वो बेसबॉल जानते हैं, क्रिकेट नहीं जानते वो. बोला नहीं बोलो आशीर्वाद दे दो इंडिया को बस वो भी चलेगा. So I told नहीं स्वामी जी नहीं देंगे अभी थक के आए हैं. So we sat in the car, Maharaj sat in the front seat, I was sitting in the back seat. And this television crew with the camera, I can't remember which channel it was, is knocking at the windshield on Maharaj. So Maharaj opened the windshield and said, yes. He said, Swamiji, I like you to give an interview for the India's World Cup final and say some words of blessing to the Indian cricket team. So Maharaj said, okay. So my plan failed. And the television camera and everything there and said, Swamiji, say something for the Indian cricket team. What is your opinion? Who will win? Sri Lanka or India? Now, firstly, Maharaj doesn't know cricket. And he had been little updated with the news, but not more than that. So Maharaj said, actually, to tell you the truth, I'm from America and the only cricket I know is an insect called cricket. And beyond that, the game is truly not known to me. But I'll tell you something, he said. I came to India way back in the year 1970, 71. And the people of India gave me so much affection, so much love, that I'm praying that India wins. And that guy was saying, thank you, Swamiji. My God. And to tell you the truth, it's not just he didn't know cricket. I absolutely don't know cricket. Can you believe that? I'm an Indian. Somehow sports was not my forte. So I didn't get into that. 1985, Benson Hedges tournament. The matches were coming early in the morning, 2:30, 3 in the morning. And my father, who left his body 4-5 years back, he was such a die-hard fan of cricket. He would have a Diwali mein crackers ka budget for the whole year's cricket. India jeeta to ye budgeted crackers hoga. The only problem he had a son who was socially outcast. I had no interest in cricket, so he didn't have any company. So what he did is he caught my poor mom, who was from the village. She was brought up in a village. And he gave her an orientation course on what cricket was meant to be. And taught her cricket fully. She got to know all the terms. And they used to get up in the morning, take a shower and keep 2 flasks of tea ready. So like gopis were cursing Brahma that, our eyelids should not blink when we see Krishna. So just in order that Eiling should not bliss for one ball, they would keep all these flasks of tea ready. And then one morning my mother came up to me and she said, "Utho." I said, "Kyun?" She said, "You should see cricket." I said, "Should see? What do you mean should see? I'm not interested." She said, No, you have to see." I said, "I can't." I must have been 6th or 7th standard, And then she said, "This is completely being a social outcast. Log cheetu karenge tum pe. Cricket nahi dekhte tum." And I remember she slapped me to get up in the morning. I got a tight slap on my face to get up and watch cricket. And then I was in the center, on one side my father and one side my mother giving me Divya Gyan about cricket and about trying to understand cricket. And I couldn't understand then and I didn't understand today. It's just because it's just not my cup of herbal tea. I don't drink tea, so I must say herbal tea. I absolutely don't remember who won in that match, but I do remember the jhapad. It was quite a part, Cricket, such a part of life. Such a part of life. Like Lord Vishnu pervades everywhere and is Sarva Vyapi. So cricket pervades every pore of this country called India. One guy here may not pick up the bat, but seeing there, "Tu maar, tum maro. Humse to hoga nahi, tum maro." They will not pick up a ball, they will not pick up a bat, but they'll say, "Tum karo, you do. And they will keep cheering the players. My God. Our Braj Bihari Prabhu is also a brahmachari here. Senior brahmachari is, MBA in international finance. Gold medalist in international finance. And cricket was his life. There was not a single match at Wankhede or Brabourne Stadium that he missed. Reason? His father was in the highest position in Western Railways. They had a special stand booked for them. He would sit there in the front and watch all the matches. And someone told him Hare Krishna temple, this, that. He came. He knew nothing about Hare Krishna. He walked into the temple and he saw in the altar. And when he saw Gaur Nitai, he thought, who are these two umpires saying sixer? He's thinking, who are these two umpires raising their hands up saying, six? See that? In the game of life, whether an umpire gives that sixer or not, they need to say sixer. And when they give sixer and say, okay, blessed, your game is final. But I must tell you, such a part of life. So please excuse my ignorance of cricket. I had an orientation course with some people who knew cricket to just get the lingo. And I still will not be able to get it. I know I'll be confused. So I won't use too much, but if you do see me go a little off track into wrong terminology, please feel free to correct me. And how's that? See, I got it right. That much at least I have to know. I don't know much about cricket otherwise. But we all come to this Prerana festival truly to get knowledge, isn't it? We all come here to get knowledge. And we come here to get knowledge, and the world outside, everyone's getting knowledge. People are going to academic institutes, schools, top universities of the world. And I travel overseas a lot. I go to different universities in the United Kingdom, sometimes in Germany. And everyone's so obsessed with knowledge. Not wrong. Wonderful. Extremely wonderful that the world looks at knowledge. Isn't it? And sometimes so they're not good at that also. Even academic knowledge, they're not good. One teacher in the class is asking in the school class, she's asking the children, एक लड़के को खड़ा किया, चांद पे पहला कदम किसने रखा बोल? तो बोला नील आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग ने. बोला और दूसरा किसने रखा? बोला अरे ओके लंगड़ी खेलने गया था, कि दूसरा भी उसने ही तो रखा होगा ना. इवन द सेकेंड पुट दूसरा कौन रखेगा? नील आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग कौन रखेगा? Therefore, even in academic knowledge, students, God, someone said to me, one student said, Galileo had a great mind. Einstein had a genius mind. Newton had an extraordinary mind. Bill Gates has a brilliant mind. And we, the students, never mind. You know, this knowledge has two divisions: material and spiritual. Apara and para. Apara Vidya is material knowledge. Para Vidya is spiritual knowledge. And we need both. We can't be on an extreme end. We can go on the extreme end on being academically oriented and make a great time having money, and we may miss playing the master strokes of life with spiritual knowledge. Or we may be on an extreme end, getting into spiritual knowledge, learning how to play the master strokes in life, and forget to get the academic side of it and be a dunce in the world. Thus a balance of the two. Apara Vidya, which you get in your universities when you go to your universities, and Para Vidya, which when you come to this university, you get. This balance is a must in life. And what does Apara Vidya give you? Apara Vidya gives you knowledge, great knowledge. And that material knowledge gives you a great lifestyle, isn't it? You can have the best brands. You can have Giorgio Armani, you can have Tommy Hilfiger. You can have the best brands to dress up with, the best cars to be driven in, the best homes to live in, the best places to visit for your vacations. Your lifestyle will be great because Apara Vidya pays you. Apara Vidya, your academic knowledge pays you. And if you're a Gujju, you don't even need Apara Vidya. You don't even need Apara Vidya. Bill Gates, he decided to have the CEO for the Europe operations for Microsoft. So he called for candidates. And Bill Gates was present to interview. There were 5,000 candidates there. And when Bill Gates came, he addressed into the address system. He said, okay, now anyone here who does not know Java, you please go. Out of the 5,000, 2,000 left, there was one Mr. Patel. He thought, well, I don't know Java, but try karwa masu. No problem. You know. Then Bill Gates said, now anyone who does not have a management degree, please leave. So there were only 3,000 left anyways. 2,000 more left. And our Mr. Patel said, who to तीसरी फेल छु पण ट्राय करवामा શું વરે છે? No problem. Now there's only 1,000 left. Bill Gates said, now anyone who does not have experience of managing a project with at least 100 people, please leave. 500 people left, leaving behind only 500. And Mr. Patel said, I don't know if I manage myself, but try. Then Bill Gates said, now that 500 people left, only anyone who does not know Croatian and Serbian, please leave. 498 people left. There was only 2. And one Mr. Patel thought, I don't know nothing but Gujarati. But try karwama શું છે? વાંધો નથી ને? So then 2 people left in the hall, everyone's gone, and Bill Gates looked at them and he doesn't know any Croatian or Serbian. He said, now that you claim that you know Serbian and Croatian, I want to see you talk. So Mr. Patel asked the other guy, કેમ છો? And the other guy said, ekdam majama. I'll tell you. Oh my God. I must tell you something. To make a living, you don't need much apara vidya. You just need some substance up here. And you will make it great there. So yes, indeed, apara vidya or material knowledge gives us a great lifestyle. But para vidya or spiritual knowledge gives us a great life. And there's a difference between lifestyle and life. You may be dressed in a Tommy Hilfiger and may be a nervous, miserable wreck. A wreck. Dressed in the best brands, being driven in a Lamborghini and a wreck. Is that what knowledge is meant to do to us? Ladies and gentlemen, material knowledge provides us with money, which gives us a great lifestyle, but it can do nothing to your inner systems. To make a life, therefore, to live a life of contentment, control, satisfaction, one needs spiritual knowledge. Thus, material knowledge is about quantity. And people focus so much on quantity, isn't it? The world outside focuses on quantity. People want to be rich. There are some people who have a lot of money. And there are some who are rich. Because money doesn't make richness. Some people are just so poor, absolutely so poor, that all they have is money. You can imagine. All they have is money. And I'm wondering, we are so overwhelmed by quantity. How many of you have an iPhone 6? God, which yuga am I sitting in? Looks like I'm sitting in Satya Yuga. How many of you have a Samsung? How many of you have Samsung with 128 GB storage on the phone? Quantity matters so much to us. Storage space बढ़ाओ फोन पे. अरे क्या दुनिया का नंबर रखेगा क्या उसमें? सब दुनिया भर का नंबर आएगा उसमें. Storage space बढ़ाओ उसका फोन का. You know, so overwhelmed by quantity. But quality of life suffers very badly in this Kali Yuga. People are stressed, depressed, yet well dressed. Stressed and depressed, yet well dressed. So spiritual knowledge looks at quality, material knowledge looks at quantity, and we need a balance of both. The third is, material knowledge simply makes you prove to the world कि मैंने कुछ कर दिखाया है. अब क्या समझते हैं? Sure. I couldn't go to the Indian cricket team. ठीक है. लेकिन गली में तो खेलता ही है हम. Try to prove to the world. है ना? दुनिया को दिखाना चाहते हैं हम. फर्स्ट क्यों आना चाहते हो? अरे फर्स्ट आओ ना. कम फर्स्ट बाय योर मेरिट. दुनिया को दिखाने के लिए फर्स्ट मत आओ. You want to get a great job? Na, get a great job. Who is stopping you? Don't do it to prove to the world that you're great. Your greatness will be seen by the world. You don't have to prove to the world that you're great. The problem is everyone is overwhelmed by this thing that I want to prove that I am the best. You don't prove by telling and showing off. You prove by doing things in an excellent way. When you live by excellence, you automatically prove to the world. You know? You don't have to do anything separately to prove to the world that I've done something and I'm great. है ना? Impress करना चाहते हैं सबको. वैलेंटाइन डे पे भाड़े के गाड़ी में जाता है. थैंक गॉड जूता तो खुद का है. कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स क्या इंप्रेस करेंगे? वन गाय वाज आस्किंग अनदर गाय, तेरे फोन में क्या क्या है बोल? तो बोला मेरे फोन में कैमरा है, मेरे फोन में मेमोरी कार्ड है, मेरे फोन में वोडाफोन का सिम है, मेरे फोन में ये है, इतना कांटेक्ट हुआ. तेरे पास क्या है? वो बोला मेरे फोन में बैलेंस है. स्टूडेंट्स का तो बैलेंस भी जीरो होता है कई बार. And therefore, it's not about proving to the world. Material knowledge makes us prove and spiritual knowledge makes us improve. Don't try to prove. Try to improve, and when you improve, automatically proof comes to the world. If you improve, दुनिया को दिखता नहीं है क्या? अंधे हैं क्या तो लोग दुनिया में? People all can see very clearly. Try to improve in your life, and that was the difference between Karna and Arjuna. Karna was trying to prove, Arjuna was trying to improve. When you try to prove, there is pratiyogita. When you try to improve, there is pratiyogita with yourself. दूसरों के साथ प्रतियोगिता मत कीजिए, खुद के साथ प्रतियोगिता कीजिए, और खुद के साथ प्रतियोगिता होकर इंप्रूव करोगे ना तो क्रिकेट की प्रतियोगिता में जाओगे तो भी एक्सेल करोगे, अलग से प्रूव करने का जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा. As a third aspect of material and spiritual, the fourth aspect of material knowledge is it just makes you go through life. It just makes you go through life. You just go through it. All the different stages of life. First Poopsie, then Pepsi, and then Hari Ram. I know many of you are stuck at the third stage of your going through life, but one guy is saying, what is better? 1 liter of milk or 1 glass of unadulterated vodka? Which is more powerful? So the guy said, obviously 1 glass of vodka. Said, how? Said, you drink 1 liter of milk and you bang the wall. Does the wall move? And you take 1 glass of vodka, you don't do anything, it starts moving. Oh my God. Life today has become material knowledge, just makes you go through life, but spiritual knowledge makes you grow through life. Don't go through. Grow through life. And in growing through life, like a larva in a cocoon, there is pain. In going through, there is no pain. Galat karne mein koi kasht nahi hai. If you have to do wrong, you're not going to have to do anything. You don't have to go through pain. Later, as a reaction, you'll have to go through pain. But otherwise, to have a great time and a gala time and go around partying and socializing, it's not a big deal. You don't have to go through any pain. But if you want to improve and grow in your life, coming out of the cocoon of your lethargy, coming out of the cocoon of your laziness, coming out of the cocoon of your complacency, it's painful to work hard, to succeed. But we grow as a beautiful butterfly. And therefore, don't just go through. Grow through. That is spiritual knowledge. And conclusively, material knowledge is all about information. You know, there is a term called information diarrhea now. खाने के बाद जैसा बहुत सारा क्या होता है, दस्त लगती है. So when you have too much knowledge, they say it's an information diarrhea. New term coined now, new phrase coined in the world. है ना? Overwhelmed by information. Once Aurangzeb told all his soldiers, Mughal soldiers, अरे जाओ शिवाजी को ढूंढ के लाओ. So the Mughal soldiers said, सब घूम के थक गए, हम मुगल है, गूगल नहीं. ढूंढने के लिए शिवाजी को, क्या शिवाजी सर्च डाल के क्या गूगल में ढूंढेगा क्या उसको शिवाजी को? In an age which is so overwhelmed by information, the problem is we forget transformation. So material knowledge is about information, but spiritual knowledge of Paravidya gives us transformation, changes us. How many of you, be honest, in front of God, would like to deal with your bad habits, external or internal, whichever? Good. And does academic knowledge, material knowledge help? It doesn't. How many of you would like to change your attitudes to being positive attitudes despite failure? And does material knowledge help? No. How many of you would like to change your behavioral patterns and character? And does material knowledge help? I have seen material knowledge to make people arrogant, to make people impudent, to make people have audacity and an air around them. The higher they go up, they think that there's something. I'm not talking of everyone. I'm not generalizing. But I see that becomes the characteristic of such knowledge. Knowledge is meant to breed humility. ज्ञान के साथ नम्रता आनी चाहिए. Victory should bring humility. And in that Titanic talk I had said, विजय के साथ साथ होना चाहिए विनय. अगर विजय के साथ विनय नहीं है तो क्या पाया है जिंदगी में हमने? Gentlemen, please join me to summarize the 5 differences between material and spiritual knowledge. Number 1, material gives you a lifestyle and spiritual gives you a life. Number 2, Material knowledge is about quantity and spiritual is about quality. And number 3, material gives you prove and spiritual improve. And number 4, material makes you just go through life and spiritual helps you grow through life. And number 5, information and transformation. At our Prerana festival, we come for the second kind, to change. Change our value systems, to change our attitudes, to change our belief systems in a way that our life, our behavior, our words, our academic courses, our work, everything will be positively reformed and changed. And what is the best way to speak? Take what is the frame of reference of everyone else. When Titanic 3D movie came, they asked me to speak on Titanic because sab usme hi atka hai sabka mind. So we chose Titanic 2 years back. And now since the World Cup is going on, we decided we will do cricket. Take small steps, baby steps towards change, but change. One father was asking his son, "Beta, 9 into 8 is how much?" He said, 22. So the father gave him a chocolate. The next day father asked, "Beta, how much is 9 into 8? He said, 32. Father gave him a chocolate. The neighbor said, "Sir, what are you doing? He's giving a wrong answer. How can you do this?" He said, "Look, he may be giving a wrong answer, but yesterday he was saying 22, today he's saying 32, tomorrow he'll say 42. When he reaches 72, I'll say, don't go ahead, beta, now stay here." Ladies and gentlemen, change in life comes with small steps. We may be at 22 and our journey is from 22 to 72 in a habit that we want to deal with. We are at 22, we want to reach 72 and you can't take a leap of 50. Take a baby step of change. A small step of change. One little step from 22 to 22.25. That is also a step ahead of change. And we will definitely change if we come to change our value systems by Paravidya or spiritual knowledge. One guy who used to come for my Gita classes, he used to smoke 63 cigarettes a day. Can you believe that? 63 cigarettes a day. And not surprising, he was into FNOs, futures and options. Always anxious and stressed. 62 to 63 cigarettes a day, that is the minimum. That is like 16 rounds minimum. Then above that he would do more. Above that he would, that is extra rounds. Extra mala. So one day he comes up to me and says, "Prabhuji, I want to stop smoking." I said, "Absolutely not." क्या बोल रहा है smoking बंद करना है? बिल्कुल नहीं. Continue smoking. He was completely flabbergasted hearing my response, not from me at least. I said, "Please continue smoking 62 daily. You're doing 63, no? Do 62 daily. That leap of 50 is not possible for you, no? 63 to 0, 63 to 62 होगा? क्यों नहीं होगा? एक एक करके आज ये जेंटलमैन 45 पे आ गया है 3 साल में. आएगा, 0 पे भी आएगा. 4 प्रेरणा बाद. 4 years later. And therefore I always feel we need to take small steps to change. And today's frame of reference for us to discuss is change through playing the master strokes in life. You know? And what are those master strokes? इंडिया में तो ऐसा अमेजिंग जुगाड़ू लोग है ना, हर चीज में जुगाड़ करते हैं. क्रिकेट खेलने में भी जुगाड़ होता है उनका, है ना? क्रिकेट खेलने में भी जुगाड़ होता है और हर चीज में जुगाड़ होता है. They are jugadus in everything. They will lock their chappals also. एकदम indigenous inventions होता है. कुकिंग करने में गैस खत्म हो गया तो they know how to cook when the gas gets over. You know? And this is a bachelor in the hostel cooking roti with beer bottle. जब उसको बेलन नहीं मिला ना, he's moving with belan. And this guy wants to hear music, so he's tacked his laptop in the lungi and is hearing sound while frying pakoras. You can imagine. That's our jugadu.com. You know. And this is incredible office. Mercedes to afford kar nahi sakta. तो ऑफिस को ही बना दिया और वैसा बैठ गया उसमें, you know, my God, lot of जुगाड़ they do. And this won the national award, you know. National award for जुगाड़. And look at that guy so peacefully sitting inside. वो बच्चे को भी टेंशन नहीं है कि कुछ होगा मेरे साथ. Oh my God. And this, so what can we say? God. There's a train coach on a truck. That's called jugaad. But in India, oh, that's even from the moon they start vada pav. When Neil Armstrong goes to start a vada pav stall on the moon, you know. And then this is proper desi jugaad when you want to play cricket. I'm sure all of you have played like that. ईट रख के कितने लोग खेले क्रिकेट, बोलो ईट रख के. हाँ, वो ईट के दो से अंदर से गया तो क्लीन बोल्ड है कि नहीं. और अगर गटर में गिरा जाके तो नहीं जी, चौका. और अगर आंटी का काश टूटा तो well, cricket is a part of life. This evening we've gathered to learn a few lessons in the next 45 minutes to an hour. I always take about 30 minutes to warm up. More than myself, you need that warm up before I start. And therefore, today we want to learn. I have listed 8 lessons. I don't know if I can finish all 8. But whatever we finish, to our credit. And therefore, let us begin learning master strokes in this game of life. Cricket is about balls and bats. A bowler and a batsman. Variety of bowlers. I don't even know the names. I told you I'm ignorant in cricket. I truly don't know much about cricket. But what I'm told is the worst is a googly. That's what I'm told. I tried googling googly. And I was told when a leg spinner just changes the direction of the ball a little bit, he puts. That's all I know. I truly don't know much cricket. So थोड़ा सा tilt करके डालता है ना, वो जो बैट्समैन है वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है कि बॉल ऐसा आएगा, और जब गोगली पड़ता है तो उसके बैट को लग के गया साइड से, आउटस्विंग बोलते हैं नहीं उसको, आउटस्विंग होकर गया, caught. The wicket keeper catches. Out. Master strokes in life. जिंदगी में बहुत बॉल पड़ रही है नहीं, लाइफ बहुत बॉलिंग करती है नहीं. लाइफ का गूगली क्या है मालूम है? आपके वाइवा में वो एग्जामिनर ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछता है जो संसार में किसी को मालूम नहीं है, वो गूगली है. और रिजल्ट क्या है मालूम है? डक. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to learn to bat properly in this game of life called cricket. And therefore, lesson 1 from the game of cricket is, any good batsman, any good cricketer, any good cricket player will first assess the ground, the pitch, will assess the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats. It's called a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, W, know what are the opportunities to hit, and know what are the threats, a leg spinner, an expert leg spinner. Every good batsman will first go and assess the situation to get everything cleared. Once that assessment is there and things are there, first get adapted to the ground as if it's your home ground. In the home ground, you can hit well. But if it's not your home ground, it's not as easy. The terrain is different, the country is different, people who are cheering are different. The umpire is not in your favor because he's a third umpire, not of any country. God, I'll tell you something. There is a great need for assessment because it's not your place. वानखेड़े में खेलेंगे ना, अरे मारो यार, बॉम्बे है. उधर मेलबोर्न में जाएंगे ना, देखना पड़ता है सब कुछ बराबर क्या क्या. First, assessing the realities of the pitch. Whom are you playing against? Who is the team? Who are the fast bowlers? Who are the leg spinners? All of that stuff. Assessment of situations of the game. You know, without which batting can be a little haphazard. We are all playing a game of life. Assess your opponent first. Till the time you do not know your opponent's strengths and weaknesses and your own strengths and weaknesses, there is a problem. जिंदगी में हम जब खेल रहे हैं जिंदगी का the game of life, we need to truly assess who is our opponent. I'm asking you a question. How many of you are with me now in the talk? Okay, good. How many of your minds are outside this hall? बैठे बैठे ऐसे ही जुप और फिर कुछ तो हा हुआ बैक. You know, do you know something? In the game of life, you're playing a cricket match against an entity called the mind. और इस एंटिटी के साथ अगर आप जीत गए तो दुनिया की कोई शक्ति आपको रोक नहीं सकती. No one on planet Earth can stop you from accomplishing and achieving what you want if you can bat against the googlies that the mind bowls at you. How many of you have experienced that the mind bowls googlies? Good. When it comes to exercising and jogging, how many of you know that the mind bowls googlies? मत जा, सो जा, सो जा. वो आपको आउट करना चाहता है. आपका मन आपके गेम में आपको आउट करना चाहता है ताकि आप चौका छक्का लगा के सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो. एक ही व्यक्ति है रोकने वाला आपको आपके यश में, वो है ये फास्ट बॉलर, मन, द माइंड. सो एक्टिव ना, सोता है तो भी छोड़ता नहीं है. बॉडी इज इनएक्टिव. उसका बॉलिंग चल रहा है, बैट्समैन थक गया है, वही तो बंद कर. अभी बैट्समैन ने बैट नीचे रख दिया है तब भी इसका बॉल चल रहा है. बोल रहा उठने के बाद वो मारेगा, वो उसको मुझे बोल्ड करना है, बस क्लीन बोल्ड. कॉन्स्टेंटली सपना आता है, सपना. वन लेडी, एक पत्नी अपनी पति से पूछ रही है. पति बोलता है पत्नी को, 4 बजे उठाता है पत्नी को, बोला मुझे एक सपना आया. बोला क्या आया सपने में? बोला एक बहुत सुंदर लड़की आई. सो शी सेड मैं थी ना? बोला बिल्कुल नहीं. सो देन द लेडी सेड अकेली आई होगी नहीं वो? पति साहब बराबर, तुझे कैसे मालूम? बोला उसका पति मेरे सपने में आया था. Her husband came in my dream. ये मन. I used to go to Radha Raman temple in Vrindavan, and there in the Radha Raman temple I used to hear one devotee sing this song. ये मन बड़ा पागल है, कैसे तेरा भजन करूं, जितना इसे समझाऊं उतना ही मचलता है. समझाया आपने आपके मन को? शांत बैठता है वो, बॉलिंग बंद करता है वो तो बॉल पे बॉल डाला जाता है आपको आउट करने के लिए, ताकि आपने जो प्रण लिया है, द वर्ड दैट यू हैव गिवन टू गॉड, टू योर फैमिली, इन योर लाइफ, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू कीप योर वाउज, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू कीप योर रिजॉल्व. दैट इज द जॉब ऑफ दिस ओपोनेंट टीम ऑफ योर्स, द माइंड एंड माइन ऑफ कोर्स. The mind. My God. I want to tell all of you, assess this opponent. Assess this opponent who's very strong. One of the best bowlers in the history of cricket is the mind. ऐसा गूगली डालता है कि कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप लोग. How many of you have had a conflict within? Good. Thank you. How many of you have had a conflict? मंदिर जाए कि नहीं आज प्रेरणा के लिए? Thank you, thank you, gentlemen. Raise your hands up. Don't worry. Don't worry. Your mind is bowling. Don't worry. है ना? आपके मन ने तो बोला ही होगा ना, अरे किधर वो टकलों के पास मंदिर में जा रहा है तू? हाँ, क्या है वो मंदिर में, क्या रखा हुआ है? हाँ, वो गूगली डालता है, मत जा। फिर दूसरा दोस्त बोलता है, अरे तू चल उधर, उधर श्रद्धा है, भक्ति है, पूजा है, आराधना है, सब है उधर, तू चल बस, हरे कृष्णा। और फिर हाँ हाँ हाँ, उधर प्रेरणा भी है। Oh my God. Hare Krishna. What googlies by the mind will stop you from doing what you want? How many of you have trouble in studying? Raise your hands as students. My God. And you come here, you hear all of these things. Don't get distracted by WhatsApp. Don't get distracted by internet pornography. Don't get distracted by Twitter. Don't get distracted by Facebook. Study. Don't get distracted by birds to do bird watching. Study. All these distractions. इधर आके कुछ उपदेश देते हैं कुछ लोग, साधु लोग आपको, उस पे बाद भी फेल होता है वो. So one father was telling his son, देख देख तेरे क्लास में वो लूसी है ना, लूसी, देख देख फर्स्ट आई है वो, और तू नालायक फेल हो गया. वो बोला देख देख के ही फेल हो गया मैं उसको, देख देख के ही तो फेल हुआ मैं उसको. I'll tell you something. My God, the mind. आपको जब बोला जाए उधर मत देख, मन गूगली डालता है, सुन मत उसका, तू उसका तो कुछ हुआ नहीं, तेरा भी रोक रहा है. सुनो मत इसका, इन साधुओं का, डिवोटी लोगों का सुनो मत. मन गूगली डालता है. Why? Because the mind doesn't want you to win the game of life. How many of you wanted to wake up early in the morning? Raise your hands. Only wanted, I asked. Wanted to wake up early in the morning. And how many of you have done something called as setting an alarm clock? है ना? 4 वाजताचा लावला, 4. किती हिम्मत आहे पहा त्याच्यामध्ये, 4चा अलार्म लावला त्यांनी. अहो छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांकडे एवढी हिंमत नव्हती, एवढी आमच्या मुलांकडे. 4 वाजताचा अलार्म लावतात ते, 4 o'clock. And then after setting the alarm clock at 4, that's an alarm. Whether you want it or not, it rings. And when it rings, the mind puts its first googly. And your intelligence tells your mind, अरे एग्जाम 2 दिन पे है, पढ़ाई नहीं हुआ है, किताब जिस दिन खरीदा था अभी तो खुशबू वैसा ही है, खोला ही नहीं है, खोला ही नहीं अभी तक. What are you doing? What does the mind do? By putting the googly, makes you clean bold when you do the first snooze. You are out. You are out. If you snooze, you are out. And then the second snooze. And the third snooze. Finish. Turn the alarm off. मेरे से नहीं होगा. ये बॉलर बहुत पावरफुल है. मैंने तो अपना बैट ही नीचे रख दिया है. I want to say something. I used to do this earlier, you know. I would love to, I still sometimes do it. I know it's bad, but I do it. Many times I sleep very late in the night. I have a lifestyle, a lot of programs, Bombay, everything starts late. I don't get enough sleep in the night many times. And if you sleep at 1 o'clock in the night, and if you have to wake up at 4 for Mangalarti, it's not easy. Not easy at all. And I've slept, like in the last week, I've slept like 1:30, 1:45 because of coming back from somewhere at that time. And when the alarm rings, no, it's not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, आसान नहीं है वो अलार्म से उठना तुरंत. बहुत कठिन होता है उठना तुरंत बिना स्नूज किए. तो मैं कभी कभी क्या करता हूँ मालूम है, मैं ना 4 बजे उठना होता है, 5 बजे का मंगल आरती है तो 3:45 का अलार्म लगाता हूं. 3 स्नूज करके केवल एक मेंटल फीलिंग के लिए कि 15 मिनट ज्यादा सोया. How many of you have done it? Raise your hands honestly. My God, look at that. I thought I'm the only one. Seems like a common strategy all over the place. Just to get that mental feel कि 3 snooze में 15 minutes. अरे नींद खोल के डिस्टर्ब हो गया फालतू में 15 मिनट. I want to say one thing. Just one. And probably this will change the direction of your life. You know something? When you snooze the alarm, what happens? You decide to give in to the mind's bowl. Decide to give in to the mind's ball. And this is how your morning begins. By giving in to the mind. सवेरे की शुरुआत होती है इस बॉलर से क्लीन बोल्ड होके. आगे क्या मैच जीतेंगे? ये तो दिन की शुरुआत है. By giving in. And it's no problem giving in. Sleeping 5 minutes extra is no problem. The problem is you develop the attitude of giving in. You tell yourself that what I decided last night is not as important. What is important is what the mind says. Because we listen. When we listen to our mind, that means what we decided is not as important as what the mind is telling us at this point of time. I'll tell you something, my humble advice. Because it's not just about getting up in the morning, it's about every aspect of life. Whether it's your work, if you're working, whether it's your study, if you're studying, whether it's your chanting, if you're a devotee of Krishna, whatever we do. The problem is, it's not about one thing. सबेरे हो गया ना, it reflects in every area of life. इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ, अगर 4 बजे नहीं उठना, मालूम है ना अपने से नहीं होता, 4:20 का अलार्म लगाओ, लेकिन 4:20 को उठो. Don't allow that snooze. Because every time you allow that snooze, you are allowing this opponent to googly you and make you clean bold. Are you all with me? Are you ready for the second master stroke? The first master stroke is assess your opponent and the pitch. And we have very well assessed our opponent. The mind. ऐसा opponent है ये कि बार बार out करता रहता है, नहीं? And therefore the second aspect is practice is the key. There is no substitute to practice in any sport, including cricket. Praveen Ambreji is here. Ask him. Abhay Chaitanya Prabhu is here. You were also playing for Ranji Trophy, right? And do you know that he is the mentor of Ajinkya Rahane? Abhay Chaitanya Prabhu is the mentor of Ajinkya Rahane. Huh? Say it again. Okay. Yes, great. Cricket. You know, and therefore, they know well how much time goes into practice. How much time goes into practice to be able to, when the bowler throws the ball, जब तक practice नहीं किया है ना, वो ball आएगा तो कैसे मारेगा? सेमेस्टर भर पढ़ाई नहीं किया और पास होना है. प्रोफेसर गूगली डालता है, नहीं? और आपको छक्का मारना है, कैसे छक्का मारेंगे? Without study, without practice. Even in our chanting Hare Krishna, devotional service to Krishna, we need practice. And we have one brahmachari. Keeps chanting all day. For a long time he keeps chanting. So one day we asked him, we chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. You're chanting morning 2:30 onward till 5. Then 6 to over 8. Then through the day, how much you're chanting? He said, मैं क्रिकेट खेलता हूं प्रभु जी. मेरे माइंड के अगेंस्ट में क्रिकेट खेलता हूं. और ये जो बाकी सब मैं खेलता हूं ना, ये एक्स्ट्रा प्रैक्टिस है ताकि 2 घंटा जब मंदिर में सवेरे बैठूंगा तो बराबर छक्का चौका लगेगा. नहीं तो कैसे लगेगा छक्का चौका मंदिर में? Practice is the key. Tiger Woods was asked, you know Tiger Woods, the golf player. He was asked, sir, what is the secret to your success? He said 3 words, only 3 words. Practice, practice, practice. 3 words bola, bas. Practice, practice, practice. And there is nothing. And in our temple, in the ISKCON society, based on our Shastras, we call it sadhana. Practice in Sanskrit is called sadhana. Whether it's your bhakti, whether it's cricket, whether it's academics, whether it's work, if you don't do sadhana, you cannot be victorious. Victory requires practice. Victory requires sadhana. Victory requires dedication. Victory requires commitment. And people do so much practice. Tremendous amount of practice to succeed. Without practice, नहीं जमेगा. मन के गूगली को मारना है ना सवेरे उठने के लिए, एक बॉल में नहीं होगा. हर रोज प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. डोंट एक्सपेक्ट अभी पेपटॉक सुना है कल 4 बजे. आपको क्या लगता है आपका ओपोनेंट सुनेगा आपका? मैं देखूंगा आपको ऑनलाइन व्हाट्सएप पे कब शुरू किया आपने. लास्ट सीन एट. Oh my God. What a crucial aspect of life is practice. Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. In a single over, when the bowler is bowling at the batsman, पहला बॉल डाला वेस्ट गया, कुछ नहीं आया उसमें. सेकंड डाला वेस्ट गया, कुछ नहीं आया. तीसरा गया वेस्ट हुआ, कुछ नहीं आया. लगे रहो, बैट पकड़े रहो, छोड़ो मत. 4-5 दिन में नतीजा नहीं आता. ऐसा नहीं होता कि आज भर्ती और कल चक्रवर्ती. आज तक लाइफ में कोई भर्ती होके तुरंत चक्रवर्ती नहीं हुआ है. भर्ती और चक्रवर्ती के बीच में पापड़ बेलने पड़ते हैं प्रैक्टिस और साधना के. बहुत बड़े बड़े सचिन तेंदुलकर, अजिंक्य रहाणे, अमरेजी और क्या क्या नाम हमने सुने. कोई एक रात में नहीं बने ये लोग. पापड़ बेले इन्होंने मेहनत की. In whatever area of life they are wanting to succeed, they have put in tremendous amount of hard work to practice, to be able to hit that one sixer, to be able to hit that 1-4, to be able to take that one catch. How much practice is needed? And then you have shoulder tears, you have meniscal tears, you have Jones fractures. I was never into sports and all my injuries that I have in the last 1 year are sports injuries. I got both meniscus torn and got operated by Dr. Pardiwala on that. Just 3 months, 5 months back, I got a Jones fracture. So my orthopedic surgeons asking me, प्रभु जी आप कहाँ फुटबॉल खेलते, कैसा तोड़ा ये? And now I have a tear in my left shoulder with a cyst developed, which only happens to bowlers and basketballers. और अभी राइट में भी गड़बड़ निकला है. तो हमारा डॉक्टर बोलता है कौन है आप? खेलते तो है नहीं, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम सब स्पोर्ट्स वालों का है आपका. Honestly, they are shocked. How did you get this? What to do? एक बॉल नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. ओवर में दूसरा बॉल नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. बल्ला पकड़े रहो, मारने दो मन को बॉल. एक दिन नहीं उठेंगे, ठीक है. एक बॉल गया, दूसरे दिन नहीं उठेंगे, ठीक है. दूसरा बॉल गया, तीसरे दिन नहीं उठेंगे, ठीक है. तीसरा बॉल गया. यहां आके ये सुनते रहो, ओवर के लास्ट बॉल में छक्का लगेगा जी. छक्का लगेगा और ओवर की कसर निकल जाएगी एक बॉल में. वेट फॉर दैट वन बॉल. वेट फॉर दैट वन बॉल where you are stronger than your opponent. Till the time the opponent is stronger than you, नहीं हो रहा है, मैं छोड़ के जा रहा हूं, नहीं होगा मेरे से. Wait for that opportunity when you become stronger than that opponent. And is that easy? To become stronger than your mind? Are we idiots to come to the temple? Are we nuts to chant Hare Krishna? Are we foolish to offer a prayer to the Lord? क्योंकि मन को स्ट्रांग कौन क्या करेगा आपका? गोली? कौन सा गोली खा के आप मन को स्ट्रांग करेंगे आप? How will you defeat your mind? Unless you come to a spiritual path to get that strength, so that when that alarm rings, you will not snooze. So that when the temptation to type that URL in the web search of your internet browser comes, you will not type. आसान थोड़ी है. प्रैक्टिस लगता है, साधना लगती है. यही तो जिंदगी है. Life is not meant to just live like that. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. Live a life of purpose. When you live a life of purpose, the social drama of gossip and criticism won't matter to you. दुनिया कुछ कुछ बोलती रहेगी. When you're living for a purpose, कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ेगा दुनिया क्या बोलती. बोलने दो उनको जो बोलना है. Doesn't matter. You know? Because you're driven by a purpose. You will only crib about things happening when you don't have a purpose to live. You will crib that my parents don't give me a brand, my parents don't give me money for an iPhone. Or you will crib that, she broke my heart. Or you'll crib that this happened, that happened. Cribbing will go on only when you live a life without purpose. साधना करनी चाहिए. अपने पर्पस के लिए साधना करनी. ढूंढो अपने पर्पस को. ये जिंदगी में क्या टाइम वेस्ट करने आया है क्या अपने मन के अगेंस्ट? फॉर्ट बॉलर बोल कर रहा है. Bowling again and again, throwing googlies and wedges. What can I do? What can I do? I'm helpless. नहीं होता मेरे से. Is this what we came to this world for? We came to this world to seek our purpose. And when we find that purpose, we will be consumed by that purpose. Our health, our poorness, our criticism people do against us will be no value to us because we are consumed by a purpose. And it's true with a lot of people. Look for that purpose. Your spiritual purpose. Yes, you have your academic purpose, which is to get your degrees, earn money, get married, settle, have children. That everyone does, and you should do, no problem. But find your spiritual purpose to serve. दुनिया में आया राम गया राम क्या है? Is there nothing you can do for others? Life is like a game of tennis. It begins with service and ends with love all. We should have service and we should have love all. And we can only love all when we have service towards the Lord. Don't serve the Lord, to love all is difficult, Baba. We have to go beyond sects. We have to go beyond boundaries. To serve, to love, to help. Find your purpose. Kamao paisa. Excel in your life. But don't earn to just improve your brands. Earn so you can serve. Earn so you can contribute. Don't just have passion. Have compassion. Because when we are driven by compassion, then sky is the limit to earn. If you have no compassion, उतना कमा के करेगा क्या? 10 कपड़ा पहनेगा क्या? क्या आईफोन का गारलैंड पहनेगा? What will you do? He's excited about it. Oh my God. And therefore the second master stroke of life is practice. If you want to conquer this element called the mind, Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha. The 6th chapter of the Gita tells us how the mind is so difficult to control. We're bowling up balls after balls. We need abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chagrihate. We need abhyas, sadhana, practice, without which to deal with the mind is an impossibility. Are you ready for the 3rd master stroke? You remember the first one, yaad hai na? Assess your opponent. Second, practice, sadhana. And even if you assess your opponent, and no matter how much you practice, it doesn't matter. Because there will always be situations where there are people and situations beyond your control. There is a concept called sledging in cricket. And sledging is low class. It is low class. It is cheap. Where the opponent team comes and gives gali to the batsman. Gali, they try to distract them from and take their focus away. Gali, de ke focus nikalte. One thing that Sachin Tendulkar is known for is to remain cool. One thing that Sachin is adored for in the history of cricket is sledging hasn't bothered him. When people call names, people give gali and people do all kinds of stuff. This man is cool. Are you cool? When people do sledging against you in the game of life, Are you cool or you lose your cool? One Gujarati lady. She asked her husband, આપણે દિવાળીમાં શું ગિફ્ટ લાવશો તમે મારા માટે? આઈ ડોન્ટ નો ગુજરાતી. વોટ વિલ યુ ગેટ ફોર મી? યુ સેડ કુત્રી. I said કુત્રી. So this lady got so upset. Said તારી માં કુત્રી, તારો બાપ કૂતરો, તારો ભાઈ કૂતરો, તારી ફેમિલી કુત્રી. And then the husband said, અરે બાવરી બકુડી. The husband spat out the gutka and said, Q3, Audi Q3, Baba. So when you put mawa and gutka in the mouth, then Q3 sounds kutri. There will always be people who are out of control. Can you stop a guy from criticizing you? Can you start an opponent team from sledging? कुछ नहीं कर सकते. It's called things which are out of our control. People are out of our control sometimes. One lady had a fight with the husband. और झगड़ा हो गया पति पत्नी में, तो उसने अपनी माँ को फोन किया, मम्मी मम्मी मैं नहीं रह सकती इधर, ये बहुत हो गया, मैं झगड़ा हो गया, अभी मैं 2 हफ्ते के लिए आपके पास आ रही हूँ मैं मम्मी. तो उसकी माँ बोली, नहीं नहीं बेटा, उसको उसके कर्मों का फल भुगतना चाहिए, तो तू उधर ही रुक, मैं 2 महीने के लिए आती हूँ उधर. मैं दिखाती हूँ उसको, तू उधर ही रहे. Oh my goodness. You can imagine, you know. Are people in control? Can you control what people say about you? What people think about you? You have nothing. Are situations in your control many times? No. The guy who was batting was expecting an in-swing ball. And that's what the bowler bowled. And one gush of wind, an in-swing becomes an outswing. And is caught out. क्या हो गया? बॉलर ने बराबर, उसने तो इन-स्विंग डाला, इसको भी लगा इन-स्विंग, बीच में हवा आ गया बस. हाथ में आपके. Lot of things, situations, people are just out of our control. How many of you think question paper is in your control? So excited. And when things go wild, na, I'll tell you what happens with us. I'll tell you what happens with us. This is what happens with us. You know? Oh, a little bit. This is what happens with us. See? See how it foams up? We react. The stimulus of a person sledging against us, criticizing, pulling us down, envious of us, conspiring, politicking, makes us react and foam out. Hey, we start reacting also. And look at this. This is also sealed. The question is, do you want to be a 7-Up can or a Oxycool bottle of water? And I'm sure a lot of us would say, Prabhuji, हमको तो दूसरा कुछ सोचता ही नहीं है प्रभुजी. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many situations which are completely out of our control. Don't consume your minds by something that you can do nothing about. Why are we consuming our minds by something that is absolutely beyond our scope to do anything? Shall I tell you something? A good 70% of our mind is occupied by these things. Statistic. 70% mind space is occupied by things that you have no control over. क्या करेंगे बोलिए? Learn this master stroke. Not to react, but to respond. Of course, easier said than done, you know. Do you react? Like a 7-Up can? Or do you respond? Like that water bottle? Is the question that we all have at front. And thus, in our life, we will always have a stimulus and we can choose to respond because between the stimulus and response is our choice. Between the stimulus and the response is the choice. Sledging to Sachin Tendulkar is a stimulus. And his response is, he's been a water bottle his whole life. Without reacting. He wasn't an automatic water bottle. He has chosen to be a water bottle. The nurse did not give birth to a Sachin Tendulkar in the maternity ward. Well, घ्या तुमचा Sachin घ्या. सेंचुरी मारूनच आलाय घ्या. A Sachin wasn't created in the maternity ward. A Sachin was created by choice. A great personality is not born in the maternity ward. A great personality is born by the choices that one makes. And therefore, when there are all kinds of stimuli, we have to learn how to respond. Easier said than done again. If we are not strong spiritually, it is impossible. If we are not strong culturally, it is impossible. All this sounds great and good and we know, yes, I want to do it. I can't be a can of soda. I want to be a water bottle. But is it so easy? No. That is why coming here is so important. That is why chanting Mala is so important. That is why reading the Gita is so important. That is why these foundational ethics of spirituality are so crucial in this age. As all of you are going to be successful in your own areas of life, if not cricket per se, and thus we have to learn how to respond. One man, an expert batsman 5,000 years back, had an opponent in him who was so envious. Sledging. He was sledging. And this batsman hadn't done much, little bit something, out of hunger and thirst. And this bowler called Shringi was sledging, calling names against the emperor of planet Earth, Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Arjun and the Pandavas. Sledging, calling him a low-class person, calling him all kinds of things, words. And he threw a googly. A googly that would make anyone react. Maharaj Parikshit was cursed. Cursed that he would die in 7 days and 7 nights by being bitten by a snake bird called Takshak. Dead, burned to flames by the bite of this venomous flying serpent called Takshak. This personality, Parikshit, because of his spiritual practice and Krishna consciousness, did not become a soda can. He could have reacted and counter-cursed. He had more power than Shringi to counter-curse. If he had to do sledging, he would have been better. He didn't do. Maharaj Parikshit decided to be a bottle of water by utilizing his life to surrender to the Lord and benefit others. And that is when he came to the banks of the river Ganga. And Shukdev Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit. Thank God, because that's how we learn what the master strokes of life are. Our Vedic literatures and our books have it all. All we need to do is look at it from that perspective and we will see it there. My goodness. Therefore, my Guru Radhanath Maharaj, he says, don't ask the question why. Why did this happen to me? Ask the question how. How should I deal with it? For that question why, either there are no answers or there are no satisfactory answers. Why did the in-swing ball become outswing by a gush of wind? Do you know? How will you ever know? I was dancing in that kirtan in Udupi and the ground was unleveled. How did I know? There was a carpet on top of that. Would I know? Am I Paramatma to look behind? Underneath that carpet, there will be unleveled ground. I was dancing in the kirtan. And a strong jerk and a Jones fracture. Why? Why did it happen to me among so many people? We are all cribbing and complaining and crying all the time. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why? To that question, why? Either there are no answers or there are no satisfactory answers because there are factors beyond our control, which is not in assessment of the opponent, which is not just based on practice. एक हवा का झोंका फ्यूचर बदल देता है. You know? And therefore Radhanath Maharaj says, मलेरिया हो गया ना, तो डॉक्टर बोलता है मलेरिया हो गया, दवाई खाओ. बोला नहीं मैं दवाई नहीं खा सकता. क्यों? नहीं, कौन सा मच्छर काटा पहले बताओ. बोला अरे दुनिया में इतना मच्छर है, यू डोंट हैव एनी एक्सेस टू फाइंड आउट विच मॉस्किटो. विल यू आस्क विच मॉस्किटो? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वुड वांट टू नो विच मॉस्किटो इज बिटन यू, because of which you got malaria? I have had malaria 18 times in the last 19 years. 18 बार मलेरिया हुआ है इधर आके. 1996 में 7 छक्का और 1 रन. 7 times I got malaria. मैं ढूंढू राधा गोपीनाथ मंदिर में, किधर है मच्छर, कौन सा मच्छर काटा. जब वो मच्छर मिलेगा तब मैं दवाई खाऊंगा. Therefore His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, don't ask why. Why did the mosquito bite you? Why? Hare Krishna. There is something called as karma, a factor that's beyond us. After you have done everything right, you've assessed your opponent, you've done practice in your academics, in your cricket, in your giving lectures, whatever. After all of that is said and done, there is a factor that you have no control over. Success in your hands or what? No. There are factors beyond us, and then don't ask why. Because you will never get an answer. Something from beyond. Ask how. How to deal with this. I don't want to react. I want to respond. Why के लिए जब आंसर नहीं है ना, बोतल बनना सीखना चाहिए. तभी शांति का जीवन जिएंगे. That is called a master stroke of life. In the game called cricket. Are you ready for the next one? The fourth one is called Power of Blessings. Yuvraj Singh. I was so impressed to see this picture. I was very inspired and impressed to see this picture because when you are a great accomplisher, to bow down in front of someone becomes very difficult. जब खुद ही कुछ है ना, वो भी इतने यंग एज में, जाके किसी के सामने झुकना. दिस इज ऑन द क्रिकेट, दिस ऑन द ग्राउंड ड्यूरिंग अ मैच, बिफोर बैटिंग. Submission, surrender to people who are better than us gives us an ability to deal with things which are beyond our control. जो अपने कंट्रोल में हो तो प्रैक्टिस से हैंडल हो ही जाता है. What is within our control तो I can handle by practice only. But what is beyond my control, practice doesn't help. Blessings do. Blessings do. Good wishes do. And therefore, when we go and submit ourselves to our superiors and please them by our attitudes, we receive the flow of their grace. We receive the flow of their blessings. I always tell this story, it's my favorite one. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, मैं बहुत अच्छा लगता है, हर बार बोलता हूँ मैं story. I must have told it 10 times, I'll tell 100 times because I love the story. My Guru Radhanath Maharaj, he had gone to America, so he returned from America. And one of our senior devotees, Mr. Rishikesh Mafatlal, Chairman Mafatlal Groups, Krishna Chandra Prabhu is his spiritual name. So he went to receive Maharaj from the airport to drive him back to the temple. And one of our very senior devotees, Govind Prabhu, our temple president, is the senior most brahmachari in our temple. Very learned, wise soul. He also went. And then Krishna Chandra Prabhu was driving, Radhanath Maharaj sitting in the side seat, passenger seat, and Govind Prabhu sitting in the back seat, and they were coming to the temple. And a policeman, Mama, he started whistling. So then Krishna Chandra Prabhu waited. So he knocked at the so Mr. Mafatlal Krishnachandra, he pulled the windshield down. तुम्ही सिग्नल तोडला. सेड नाही तोडला साहेब. मी बघा ना, मला माहित नाही, तुम्ही सिग्नल तोडला. लायसन द्या, लायसन. सो आवर गोविंद प्रभू वॉज सिटिंग बिहाइंड सेड, काय मामा, महाराज एवढ्या 6 महिन्यानंतर अमेरिकनवर भारताला आले, तुम्ही आता असं करणार का? महाराज आले, तुम्ही आता असं लायसन मागणार? तुला काय नाही, महाराज असं गाडीमध्ये जातात, मग लायसन पण द्यायला पाहिजे, लायसन द्या. सो देन ही सेड, अहो कुणाशी बोलता तुम्ही, हे मिस्टर मफतलाल, आणि नुसते मस्त मफतलाल नाही, फार आध्यात्मिक, फार जास्त आध्यात्मिक आहेत ते, असं नाही करायचं मामा. अच्छा ठीक आहे, लायसन नाही, मग पावती फाडा, पावती फाडा, 1000 रुपयाची पावती फाडा. तो बोलला, काय महाराज, तुम्ही महाराजांकडनं पैसे घेता, महाराजांना पैसे दिले पाहिजे, दान हो, तुम्ही असं काय दान घेता तुम्ही त्यांच्याकडनं, असं त्यावर गोविंद प्रभू इज आर्ग्युइंग विथ हिम. So then he was so frustrated that nothing is happening. He came on the other side where Maharaj was sitting and started knocking at the windshield. So Maharaj opened the windshield. And then he put his hand inside and grabbed Maharaj's hand. And he's putting it on his head. License det nahi, paise det nahi, ashirwad tari de aata. He's asking for blessings, you know. My God. Not just in the game of cricket do we need blessings to hit a 6 or a 4. That's all okay. But in the game of life, we do need blessings because things don't go our way, ladies and gentlemen. This young man, at the age of 30, in the year 2011, got cancer of his left lung. हाथ में थोड़ी है अपने. जो कंट्रोल में है उस तो प्रैक्टिस से भी चल जाता है, लेकिन जो कंट्रोल में नहीं है वो केवल आशीर्वाद से ही ठीक होता है. This man had cancer of his left lung and he went to Indianapolis and I believe some other place in the US. 3 or 4 chemotherapies till the year 2012-13. By the time he was all right, and he's made his debut again in cricket. And how he has made, what is the team name? Delhi Daredevils, of which Praveen Amreji is the coach, right? You are, yeah? I read today. Not because I knew you were going to come. Later I came to know, but because I wanted to know about him. So I read, Delhi Daredevils purchased this man for 16 crore Indian rupees. 16 करोड़ देके वो टीम से एक टीम में ले लिया. ऐसे नहीं आता है प्रैक्टिस से. It needs submission. It needs a certain attitude by which we get blessings. Are you ready for the next stroke? Lesson number 5 from cricket. It is the small things that make a big difference. है ना? टुक टुक खेलना बोलते हैं ना उसको. लगे रहो, टुक 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 चलते रहो, है ना? It needs a lot of patience to do tuk tuk. Needs a lot of patience to play tuk tuk. You know why? Very simple. Because when you are excited to hit a sixer and a 4, not easy to play tuk tuk. And you must know one thing, that you can't hit a sixer always. You can't hit a 4 always. हर बॉल में, हर बार जब आपका बल्ला चलता है तो चौका नहीं लगता. हर बार बल्ला चकता है तो छक्का नहीं लगता है. Keep the scoreboard ticking. You can't wait only for 4s and 6s. Keep the scoreboard ticking. बोला प्रभु जी मैंने इंजीनियरिंग किया है, मैं तो इन्फोसिस के बिना मैं गाऊंगा ही नहीं. अरे चुप. वो छक्का है, तू पहले शंभुनाथ के यहाँ पान बना जाके. You know, don't lose opportunities. Don't lose opportunities. Keep the tuk-tuk going. Small things only make a big difference and the score keeps on going. And then the last ball is a chakka and you win. Lagan. That guy, Amir Khan, last ball hai, 1 ball and 6 runs needed. 4 runs needed. Chauka. And this guy, गाँव वाला है वो, सीधा छक्का. And that British fellow runs to catch and catches the ball and jumps. We won against these Gawalas. Only to realize that he was outside the boundary. I never saw this movie. Tell me this. मैं कहेगा क्रिकेट आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट क्रिकेट. अगर रजनीकांत को मारना है ना, लास्ट बॉल है और 24 रन चाहिए. क्रिकेट के हिस्ट्री में ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं, रजनीकांत खेलेगा तो होता है. वो बॉल मारता है और बॉल के 4 टुकड़े होके बाउंड्री के बाहर जाते हैं. 24 राउंड में जीत गया. इंडिया विंस व्हेन रजनीकांत wins. Oh my God. When Rajnikant is the coach for the Indian cricket team, they won FIFA. Oh my God. Small things make a big difference in life. 1987, American Airlines, running through major losses. In 1 year, 1987, they saved $40,000 American dollars. And that was a lot of money then. And they saved that $40,000 simply by eliminating one olive in the salad served on business class, not even economy. Business class के हर salad से एक olive कम किया, $40,000 बचाया. टुक टुक खेलते रहो, छक्का चौका मारने का अवसर आएगा. छक्के चौके के लिए रुको मत, क्लीन बोल्ड हो जाओगे. एंड हैव ग्रेट कम्युनिकेशन, है ना. कम्युनिकेशन होता है तभी वो बराबर रन खेलते हैं. वो भागा, ये भागा, ये भागा, वो भागा. कम्युनिकेशन में कभी दो कभी 3. अर्न दिस मेरिट. डोंट थिंक आई विल चांट 16 राउंड्स ऑफ हरे कृष्णा मंत्रा ओनली व्हेन आई पास माय एग्जाम. वो छक्का है. आप टुक टुक खेलो. मैं रोज 1 माला जरूर करूंगा. खेलो खेलो, 1 माला करते रहेंगे तो आएगा एक दिन छक्का लगेगा, 16 माला होगा. डोंट वरी. It is those small things that make a big difference. You may think, what is this chanting of Hare Krishna, just repeating a mantra? What will it do? It is the small things. An apparently very simple mantra, an apparently very simple practice of fingering your beads will change the quality of our life for sure. The next master stroke is the power of attitude. Any sport, anything in life is about attitude. एटीट्यूड नहीं है तो गया. पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड नहीं है तो गया. रोने का नहीं, रोने का नहीं, रो के थक गए. रोने का नहीं, कुछ भी हुआ तो. हर हाल में रोना क्या है? बच्चों है क्या? अभी babies to keep crying with all things that happen in life, but we do with the little things we do. उसने मेरा गुलाब ठुकरा दिया. अरे तो ठुकरा दिया तो दूसरी भी है. क्या एक ही ठुकरा दिया क्या? There are hundreds of people to get married to in the world. जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ ललिता विशाखा की जय. गोपाल जी की जय. श्री गौर निताय की. See, they have raised their hand. चक्का. No problem. And therefore, attitude is very. One man, he had only 8 hairs left. एक आदमी था पूरा टकला हो गया, 8 ही बाल बचा उसका. और वो बार्बर की दुकान में गया, नाई के दुकान में. तो the barber was so frustrated seeing only 8 hair. He said, इसका चोटी बनाऊं कि शेविंग करूं? तो this guy was so positive, बोला नहीं डाई करो, white हो गया है. Dye my hair, it has become white. And therefore, positive attitude is very much needed. 2007 World Cup finals. In World Cup, Sachin Tendulkar went on a duck. With whom? Against whom? Bangladesh. Against Bangladesh. You know? And then Sri Lanka. ऐसा झापड़ है ना वो. For someone who is successful. Such a slap on the face. But it's not that you're always victorious in life. दुनिया के हमेशा ऐसा ही बोल डालेंगे, आप छक्का मारेंगे, कई बार आउट होंगे, कई बार एलबीडब्ल्यू होगा, कई बार कैच आउट होगा, कई बार हिट विकेट होगा, कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहेगा. Therefore, the right attitude is needed. There on the play field, he was so depressed. This is his interview. I read it. He said, "This is it. I'm done. I cannot play again." he came back home and met his older brother, Ajit Tendulkar. And Ajit Tendulkar said, "No, Sachin, no giving up in your attitude. Victory or loss should not stop us from putting our effort. Success or failure is not what we do things for. We do things to serve. We do things to contribute. We do things to love. We do things to express our compassion to the world. And if we are successful, great, God's grace. And if we are a failure, God's grace, because we grow through such failures." Ajit Tendulkar told Sachin, don't give up. Envision yourself in the year 2011, holding the World Cup. We need encouragement. We need mentors. We need guides. We need gurus. We need counselors, because we give up. We generally tend to just lose hope when everything is not going our way. We fail. And that hope comes from people with maturity and wisdom. Spiritual guides. गुरु की जरूरत क्या है? नहीं तो ऐसे ही जी सकते हैं. अपना मन तो बॉलिंग कर रहा है, मन के आउट होते रहो. That is why we need spiritual guides. And thus, attitudes. To be positive. सब लोग का बल्ब नहीं जलाया ना, आपका जलाए रखो. Don't turn your attitude off. Others around may or may not listen, doesn't matter. And this man had the humility to work under a captain who was 14 years younger in cricket. कोई उस्ताद आके किसी जूनियर के सामने खेलना ना बहुत मुश्किल है. If I speak and I give talks and a younger person comes and sits here and talks, it's not easy to sit and listen. It's not easy. But teamwork is not about who is big, who is less. Teamwork is not about who is in the position and who is not in the position. Teamwork is about we are together to win. Who leads? By the grace of God, whoever has that position at this time, let him lead. And we are happy to follow. A good follower is a good leader. Only those who follow well can lead well. Those who do not follow well are only hypothetically thinking that they are leaders. And they burn out people under them. They burn out people. They tarnish people. They criticize people. They hammer people down with their words, with their behavior, because they are egoistic. Good leaders means good followers. If I'm even willing to work under a junior of mine who qualifies for that position at that point of time, that is great attitude. Great attitude. And if we have that attitude, believe me, our life is a success. Otherwise, if we are only position driven, one day position will go away. It must. It must go away. You, me, anyone. One day position will go away. If you are position driven, we will be frustrated. If we are service driven, team driven, we will never be frustrated, because we are happy to work with anyone, under anyone, because position doesn't matter to us, contribution matters to us. You know? And therefore, leadership is not about positions only. And on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there was one batsman who was giving up. The opponent team was Kauravas. And what bowlers? Bhishma, Drona, Kripa. What bowlers? Karna, Shakuni, expert googly men, leg spinners. ऐसा है कि गूगली डालते थे, ब्रह्मास्त्र, वरुणास्त्र. और बैटमैन ने देखा उधर कृष्णा. सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युत यावदेता निरेक्षेऽहं योद्धुकामानवस्थितान् कैर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे. हे प्रभु, take my chariot amidst the two armies, because I wish to see who are all there to bowl against me. अभी देखना क्या, सब देख के हो गया, अभी बैटिंग करो. असेसमेंट सब हो गया, बट जी नहीं. We give up. And therefore the Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna. Why? To learn 3 words. Never give up. Hell or high waters. Never give up. when we are purpose driven to serve God and serve the world, can't give up. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, traveling to America on a cargo ship, not a passenger ship, had 3 heart attacks on board. He could have turned back. He could have come back. He had only 40 rupees in his hand, which was not even $1 in a trunk of books. Life threats in New York. Seasickness on the ship. Leaders don't give up. They see challenges as opportunities to grow and contribute. Srila Prabhupada started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and came with a bang in trying to convince so many and inspire so many to surrender to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. That is the power of Gita. He translated the Bhagavad Gita as it is so that people don't give up in their lives, in their purpose. And eventually they don't give up their spiritual purpose in life. And thus, the 7th lesson. First one, assess the situation. Second one, practice. Third one, react or respond. Fourth one, power of blessings. Fifth one, small things make a big difference. And 6, power of attitude. And the 7th one is character versus achievements. You can keep playing, खेलते रहेंगे खेलते रहेंगे खेलते रहेंगे खेलते रहेंगे और ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है कई बार 4 चौका लग गया 4 छक्का लग गया तो ऐसा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है कि मैं कर सकता हूं और जब ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है ना one wrong decision in batting and back to the pavilion. Therefore decisions, right or wrong, matter a lot. I wanted to be a doctor in my life. I wanted to be a doctor in my life. क्या हो गया वो अलग है अभी. I wanted to be a doctor in my life. I came back from school one day. I was in standard 8 and came back from school and I told my mother and my father, today Madam Monica dissected a frog in class. And I couldn't handle it, so I went to the washroom and puked out. I remember. उल्टी किया था मैं. याद है. अच्छी तरह से याद है. मैडम मोनिका ने जब मेंढक को काटा ना उधर तो मेरे से रहा नहीं गया. I walked out of the class and went and puked out in the washroom. So my parents told me doctor बनेगा. हरे कृष्णा. डॉक्टर उल्टी कर रहा है इधर खून देख के. Glad I didn't make that decision. I would never be able to handle. One wrong decision would have changed things like anything. I had done things well. Academically, it was well. Went to College of Engineering, Pune, COEP, did my electrical engineering, worked with Hewlett Packard, HP. Things went well. And I made one more decision. To quit all of that and come here, which none of you have to do because that's not the master stroke of life, essentially. I made that stroke in my life. I made that stroke in my life because what I had received was so valuable, I couldn't help but share. I couldn't help but assist my guru in trying to share. रोक नहीं सका मैं अपने आप को. और अभी इधर आके ऐसा मत समझना कि डिसीजन ठीक हो गया. एक गलत डिसीजन हो गया ना, बैक टू पेविलियन. क्या स्पिरिचुअल गुरुज, स्पिरिचुअल बाबाज नहीं होता उनके साथ? One wrong decision, one moment of inattentiveness, and back to pavilion. Gentlemen, don't ever be overconfident about your powers. Don't ever be overconfident that I can do it all. That is when what we call as Maya catches us in that overconfidence. And therefore there is a need. You know what? Life is a moment by moment decision. हर moment choice करना पड़ता है और right decision लेना पड़ता है. और कभी कभी इसमें नहीं, कभी कभी बहुत बड़ा गड़बड़ decision ले लेते हैं जी हम लोग. You know this man? Hansi Crony? South African, what a cricketer. What a cricketer. What a man in cricket. And you have heard in Delhi, I was caught when achievements mattered, not character. When achievements matter to us, we sell our character. We sell our souls for those extra bucks. It is very easy to make a buck very tough to make a difference. And we shouldn't just make bucks, we should make a difference in our lives and in the lives of others. Hansi Crony, my God. तो मैं एक ही photo डाला हूँ. There are pictures of his crying. He confessed. First he was not agreeing, then he confessed for taking money. Such greed. When achievements matter, integrity is gone. When we are driven by material achievements, we don't care for our integrity because money is what matters to us. If contribution matters, then character is what we keep. When service is what we want to do, character is what we keep in our lives. You know, this man died in an air crash, plane crash. Can you believe it? Cricketer of his caliber. The newspapers reported his death in a plane crash on the 4th page as a small little column. If he would have had that character, it would be front page. Front page news that Hansi Crony killed in an air crash. Gentlemen, just for those extra bucks, don't sell your values. Don't sell your character. Don't sell your soul for those few bucks that will buy you a few extra space, a few extra this or that. And that is why today many times when we find people even in any sport succumbing to such greed, we lose respect for such people. Because we are not concerned about their making money, we are concerned about their being clean. And there are many cricketers in the history of this country and all over the world who kept a clean record. When their character is clean, the world will remember them like that. And even if they get caught in a controversy, a scam, but they have not been involved, by the power of blessings, things which are beyond their control, they will come out clean and free. Time will tell. It may take time. Pandavas came out clean and free, were victorious because they chose to keep character over achievements. And thus, we see, don't go by achievements and cups and medals and sell yourself for those. Character is important. How many know this man? Seldom we will know. His name is Mr. Kalyan Sundaram from Chennai. कोई कैरिज्मा नहीं है इसका, कोई प्रेजेंस अचीवमेंट नहीं है इसका. कैरेक्टर क्या है? Every year of his life, every month's salary this man gave as charity. एक भी पैसा अपने नौकरी का खुद नहीं रखा. All money he gave. And people don't know him. He is a hero, an unsung hero of this nation कि जिसने एक कौड़ी रखा नहीं अपने लिए. He gave all his money away for education of poor children. Character inspires. It inspires and it leaves a legacy for many, many more in the world to come who will follow suit of such people. And therefore we find Jatayu. He fought against Ravana, didn't he? And when he fought against Ravana, what mattered to Lord Ram was not whether Jatayu was victorious. What mattered to Lord Ram was he tried. And Arjuna in the battle was victorious. In both cases, one externally failed, another externally won. Victory and defeat is a part of life. For people who are of substance, external victory and defeat doesn't matter. Character and sincere effort matters. When God sees you, He doesn't see whether you're a success externally or a failure externally. He sees your sincere attitude to serve and to do the right things. You know? And thus we find in the Srimad Bhagavatam incredible master strokes of life. Lesson 8, which is the last lesson for today, the last one for this evening, is from 2011. World Cup victory. India won against Sri Lanka. Yuvraj and Dhoni hugging each other. And the captain of Sri Lankan team, see his smile. See his smile. Jeeta kaun? India. Has kaun raha hai? Wo. Celebrate others' victory. The Bhagavad, the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, don't be envious. We should celebrate others' victory and take pleasure in others also going ahead. When we take pleasure in others, the Lord blesses us also to go ahead. जलने से आशीर्वाद नहीं मिलता है. दूसरों के उत्कर्ष में सुख लेने से आशीर्वाद मिलता है भगवान का. And therefore, the last lesson for this evening is, no matter how much we succeed, when you play in the stadium, when the match is over, do you stay in the stadium? No. You leave the stadium after playing the game of life to come back home, where there are relationships, where there is people who love you out of affection. This world is like a stadium. Play the game of your life. Sometimes victory, sometimes defeat, sometimes century, sometimes no century, sometimes tuk-tuk, sometimes chakkas, sometimes hit wicket, sometimes no ball. Don't worry, ये तो चलता रहेगा लाइफ में. खेलते रहो. भगवान को साथ में रखो जैसे अर्जुन ने रखा और मैच खेलते रहो. And once the game is over, when life ends, this is life on wheels. बचपन से लेके अंत तक गाड़ी पे ही चलते हैं हम लोग. When the ambulance carries us finally to the crematorium, till then, this is what happens. तो ये स्टेडियम में खेल खेलने के बाद क्या ये स्टेडियम में ही रहोगे? मैच खत्म होने के बाद यहां से स्टेडियम से निकलना पड़ेगा. जाओगे कहां? That is called Bhagavad Dham, Golok Vrindavan, the spiritual world. That is the purpose of the game of life. That as we finish our match and get out of the stadium, we want to go back to our home, where eternal life awaits us with our Master and our Lord, Shri Krishna, where we can serve Him and live with Him. You know? And do you know something? अपने यहाँ से एक कुछ नहीं जाएगा साथ में. सेंचुरी लेके जाएंगे साथ में? कुछ नहीं जाएगा साथ में. I went to London. For the first time I went to London. ठंडी था उधर. हमको बोला समर है. पहली बार गया मैं. और हम लोग कोई स्वेटर फेटर लेकर नहीं, बोला गर्मी में कोई स्वेटर पहनता है. And we went there and stood there, myself, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, and there in London, that person who came to was meant to receive us 45 minutes late आया बस. कुल्फी बन रहा है हमारा उधर. So then Radha Gopinath Prabhu told me, Prabhu ji, I think you should make a call and call him. Where is he? That person who's picking us up. तो मैं बोला ठीक है. I pulled my phone out. So अरे इंटरनेशनल रोमिंग ही एक्टिवेट नहीं किया. वैसे प्रभु जी फोन नहीं चल रहा. बोला पे फोन से करते हैं. So we went to the pay phone and no one had told me, this is my first time I'm going, no one had told me that I should change my money to pounds. सब रुपया है और एक फोन कॉल नहीं कर सका. तो राधा गोपीनाथ प्रभु बोले वो इंडियन आदमी लगता है, उससे मांगो फोन थोड़ा. मैं बोला जिंदगी में मैंने कभी किसी से ऐसा हेल्प नहीं मांगा, लेकिन अभी आप बोल रहे तो जाता हूँ. सो आई वेंट एंड आस्क्ड. वो बाहर इंडियन था. बोला थोड़ा फ़ोन, हमारे साथ स्वामी जी ये ठंडी लग रहा है, वो हमारा आया नहीं, थोड़ा फ़ोन करके पूछूं क्या कितने बजे है. बोले अरे स्वामी जी मेरा भाग्य खुल गया, आप मेरे फ़ोन को छुओ, मेरा बिजनेस अच्छा हो जाएगा. You know, he's telling like that. So I took the phone and fortunately the guy who was meant to pick us up came and then we didn't have to call them. But I learned a lesson. When I travel overseas, this currency doesn't work there. Change my currency here so that I can use it there. The currency you have in this life, your money, your talent, your family, everything, कुछ नहीं चलता है आगे. जब ये स्टेडियम छोड़ के जाते हैं तो चलता है. Convert कीजिए. Convert your all what you have now in a way that when this match ends and we leave the stadium, अपने साथ currency होगा जो उधर चलेगा. And therefore ISKCON is a currency conversion bureau. You know, you do your service here, you know, you come, you chant Hare Krishna, take to Krishna consciousness, render service, do what you can for Krishna. Everything you do will be converted in a way that will be understood there. And these are the master strokes of a life which were taught to us by our captain, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And by His grace only can we truly understand all the master strokes. I wish to thank you all very, very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.